And look, there are people, right? There are people who will never see your side of things. There are people who are not working for you. They work for whatever corporation funds them. They work for whatever lobbyist gives them the most money. But the people that you vote for, the people that you put in power, it is important now more than ever that you stay on their neck. You stay on them. Because when things like this happen and there's this sort of like rhetoric around, you see how people feel one way or the other, and you see politicians try to do their spin. Obviously, there's a way that we expect everybody to fall, but it's important to remember that usually ICE funding is bipartisan. So you only control the people that you vote for, but you got to stay on them. You never let up. Being a public official should be a headache. I genuinely, it depends on who it is, but I usually hate to see him smile. I'm like, why are you having a good day?
This is my love letter to the American people. We have seen some dark times before. No doubt this is one of them. So I want to emphasize that you are not powerless. I want to remind you that you are a part of the checks and balances system. Now, I have been inspired by Reverend William Barber II, leader of the organizations called the Poor People's Campaign, Repairers of the Breach, and Moral Mondays. His organizations are a call for moral restoration and civil edification, civil elevation. The word civil. The definition according to the Oxford Dictionary is relating to ordinary citizens and their concerns. That being said, I dare to propose that we organize as a nation, each American from our respective states, commit to a day of your availability to peacefully occupy your state representatives' offices consistently. Not just for a week or a month, but tirelessly. And in peacefully occupying your representatives' offices, I propose you hold prayer meetings for the restoration of morality, the restoration of the rule of law, the restoration of the Constitution, and the restoration of our democracy. We, the people, will apply pressure to our representatives that we elected. And in doing so, outflank the maneuvers of Project 2025 by peaceful means. I want to emphasize, we must agree to be peaceful. We must agree to be consistent. We must agree to be tenacious in spirit. Now, let us, we the people, help our representatives across this nation remember what being a public servant is meant to be. Thank you for listening.
And watch people say, thank God that can never happen here. And then it starts to. And these people don't know what to do with themselves because the whole reason it wasn't happening here was because we just told ourselves that it couldn't. We told ourselves a lie to make ourselves feel better. The only way it can't happen here is if it actually can't happen here. The only way it can't happen here is through the action it takes to hold people accountable nonstop to where it can never happen here. The only way that it cannot happen here is if there's an understanding that it could happen here. You know? I don't want to see what happened in Minneapolis happen anywhere else. Anywhere else in the world, anywhere else in the U.S. But there needs to be an understanding of what is happening. We're all the way to science fiction now. We're all the way to the classics. We're living in some sort of like George Orwell excerpt. It's happening because you see the video. You can see the video from so many angles. And then you see the statements by the Department of Homeland Security. You see the statements by potentially the president. You see the statements by people, political pundits on Twitter. And they are telling you not to believe your eyes. They're lying in your face. That's not what you heard. The way these systems work is that you would think, at least, the way it's propped up is a three-tiered system, right? There's the person on the ground. There's the person you might actually come in contact with, and maybe they believe certain things, maybe y'all butt heads, right? Then above that tier is the actual politician, the politician that stokes them up. They blow the dog whistles that get this person to say the thing out loud. But then above that, even above the politician, is the person that pays the politician. The person that, if we're talking about a world of puppets and puppet masters, is actually pulling the strings. A person that you will never come in contact with, even though you will feel the extension of their power. You know? We see these systems fighting each other, right? Because someone would ask, anyone could ask, where are the Democrats right now? Where have the Democrats been? And you'll see some Democrats actually make some sort of statement, you know? But the statement will, interestingly, not have the same bite that you would expect. Y'all are supposed to be the opposition party. What's happening? What's happening is that the same corporate interests pay both people. You know, there's one party that is a bit better at being an extension of those interests outwardly, openly. But the other party is paid to do nothing in the meantime. But make no mistake, both parties can be owned. It's why you should never, ever, you never put your faith in a party. You put your faith in people all the time. You never stop believing in people. People move those parties. Those parties don't mean anything. Parties don't believe in anything. It's the people in those parties that actually make action happen. There's no one party that has handled everything right throughout human history or any government, but there are people that use the momentum that they create through a party to affect change. You know, they'll have you fighting over scraps, over whose scraps these should be. Meanwhile, they've broken off a whole piece for themselves. And the politician is perfectly happy to let them because they've already been paid off. You have to trust in the people that you meet. You have to build community anywhere that you can. And when you build a community large enough, you have an entire network of people that you can trust. Because trust, when you see something like what's happening right now in the U.S., where ICE attacked that man. ICE attacked that woman that the man was defending. ICE took away his weapon, a weapon he wasn't using. It's on camera. You can watch the whole thing. ICE beat that man. They shot him several times. And you can watch that entire thing. And maybe you can find some conscionable reason that this would happen, why everything hasn't gone awry. But I think if you can, then you might be a little bit too far gone. This thing was sick and it was illegal. And it's scary when your law is on the other side of legal. when you don't know what to do. And it's hard to know what to do. These are big forces we're talking about. You're talking about huge corporations, oligarchs, billionaires. I'm talking about senators. We're talking about politicians that have real meetings with people with power. So it's hard to know what to do. But you do what you can. You do everything that you can. I am not a fighter. I don't know how. I tried to fight for some pizza once. And I saw my own eyes. So maybe you're not a fighter. Maybe you organize. Maybe you're a connector. Maybe you do your best to bring people together. But any action that you do is something. Every action that you do is something. All these people, thousands of people protesting in Minnesota right now is also for the world to see.